In the Christmas story, we have many traditions that have developed over the years, and many of them are simply unbiblical. Um, the traditions that we share in our homes and in our churches, in our businesses, among family members, remind us to worship the God who came in the form of a baby so that he could come to at the end of his life to be crucified, to be buried and raised again so that he could overcome the sins of mankind. One of the most humble animals that you will find is a donkey. In the traditions and the stories of Christmas that I have participated in for many, many years, the donkey is always there in a live nativity setting that we set up for several years so that people could come by and see the live setting, what it would really have looked like in the time of Christ. We always had a donkey. But in the story, if you look into the second chapter of the Gospel of Luke, it says that Mary and Joseph were going to Bethlehem to be registered for a census. The reason for the census is that the Roman governor wanted to know how many people were related to the town of Bethlehem so that he could increase the head tax and the people would have to pay more. He was living in a luxurious place, but he wanted more money, as many rulers do even today. So as they traveled from Nazareth to Bethlehem, it was about an 81-mile travel, which meant it would have taken at best 10 to 12 days. And it's expected that Mary walked the whole distance. The donkey is not included in the Christmas story in the Gospels. It is in the traditions today, but it was not in the Gospels. But a woman who was 9 months pregnant, who was ready to deliver, riding on the back of a donkey, and I've been on one many hours, and I can tell you that is the most uncomfortable seat that you will ever have. So the expectation is that since the donkey really is not mentioned, that Mary walked that whole distance. Those of you, the ladies of you who have had children, when you think about being 9 months pregnant and having to walk almost 10, 12 miles a day, that is an uncomfortable, it's painful, it is almost impossible to conceive, particularly when you extend that over 10 to 12 days. It would have been easier perhaps for Mary if a donkey had been involved, but it was not there. She did the walking and not the riding. Now, there is a donkey that is called a Jerusalem donkey or a Jesus donkey. And the reason that is the markings on the donkey. There is a black line that starts behind the head of the donkey and goes down the back. There's another black line that goes from the side of the donkey near the front feet and over the shoulder, making a cross. And it is the tradition that this donkey was the type of donkey or the breed of donkey that Mary would have ridden. So therefore, it has what becomes a cross if you were to lay it out. They are very peaceful, loving animals, very protective animals, but that animal didn't exist in the Christmas story. Now, as we consider the way Mary and Joseph lived during that period of time, it was very primitive. The transportation from Nazareth to Bethlehem would have been horrible, would have been harsh. They had to go around Samaria, which because it was not safe. So it would have been probably 10 to 12 days at least of walking all day long. They got to Jerusalem. There was no place for them to sleep. They slept probably in a cave or the lower floor of a house where the animals would have been. And there Mary gave birth to the firstborn son that we know to be Jesus, who is the Son of God, who came to be the lowly form of a human being so that we could rise into the kingdom of heaven, be forgiven of our sinfulness, and received into that kingdom so that we could not only be forgiven, but have a new life, have a new body, have a total mind, and be free of the worries and concerns and the problems of this life today. Enjoy the traditions of Christmas. Enjoy the time when we worship the Christ child.